And ta-dam! We are live in another umbraCoffee episode, 175. I need to check it every time. Hi, Callum. How are you?
Yeah, busy. I think for both of us, this morning's been a bit chaotic, hasn't it? But
Yeah.
story of my life at the moment. How about you?
It's same here. It's not only a work busyness right now. It's a lot of other things which are making me constantly busy for a couple of weeks in the recent times. But yeah, speaking about it, we need to get back to the intro to this episode, and the first 30 seconds should be busy, 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 boom, and we are on. That's how it is. And even you people who are watching us, you are always replying that you are really busy every week with doing some crazy things. But as usual,
Well, we need to shout out Sam, of course. He's learning, busy learning Umbraco, getting used to C# and .NET and stuff. That's awesome. Welcome. Happy to have you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So everyone is busy, but as usual as well, it was a very packed week with Umbraco staff, and we are here to help you gather it in one place and catch it up in one short go. So let's start from Umbraco product update, because it was released by Runa on 12th, May 12th.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of things mentioned here, right? It's a really packed product update highlighting all of the upcoming releases, some new releases, and some things which were released this week. Anything from your perspective, Callum? What was a surprise or anything new for you?
The update is very much stuff that's coming. I was interested to see that forms and deploy for V9 are mentioned as actually kind of being close, which is cool. They're working hard on migrating them. I would assume, just purely speculating, that Codegarden time, they're probably going to aim for around then to have these things ready, at least maybe forms, because that's probably quite a critical component of a lot of people's sites. But that's exciting. And of course, this week the beta 2 of V9 beta, and that's off the back of some of these learnathons that have been going on where feedback has been raised and.
But exactly, we've been mentioning it a couple of weeks ago that some of these properties were missing, some of the major things were maybe skipped or not released yet, and it was already addressed. Beta 2 is out, and more issues, more new things to be fixed. But as you said, probably Codegarden is a place where it's always a good deadline-driven development till Codegarden every year. And we can expect some of the things being announced there, even with the dates or maybe even new codes or new numbers next to that. But that's exactly how it is. What surprised me here, first of all, it was really gathering a lot of information about inspirations for package developers. That's what we've also mentioned on the past episode, that there's a lot of package developers who are right now thinking or doing a real work on migrating their packages, and they are sharing their experience, what can help everyone else dealing with the same stuff. And plus, something what I wanted to highlight is the documentation part. We know how documentation is important, and of course we are mentioning blog posts and all the struggles and experiences shared by developers, but still having a single place where you can look how to set it up, how to run it, how to deal with specific things in the new version of Umbraco will be and is needed.
And it's a completely separate documentation repo. So they've kind of restructured and started again for the V9, which I think is probably a good thing. Someone I was talking to this week who they're kind of early in their Umbraco journey, at least for building things, and they were saying how they wanted to get their community more involved. And of course, the big part of that is with .NET Core coming, it's far, far more appealing. And so making sure that we are in ship shape for when hopefully loads of new people start coming through the door and seeing Umbraco as a real viable CMS option on the .NET stack, that the documentation is top notch as well. I'm sure, and to be fair, it still gets brought up as a complaint that, the docs aren't great. And I disagree. I think the docs are very good, especially if you compare to some other platforms. But they are nothing like when you or I started working with Umbraco, right? The docs, firstly, they exist. But there's actual documentation and there's an effort going on behind it. I think it's going to be a world of difference for the people coming to it for the first time compared to when we started.
as experienced developers, we have one thing for which we can complain for. It's the too much documentation on some things which is not removed, maybe, right? That's the case, and we know it. New people probably might not know it, and from my perspective, that's the only concern which I have, is like having it in sync, updating it, removing outdated stuff. It's like a challenge, and we know how hard it is to maintain documentation.
Yeah.
So it's good that it's separated. It's good that it's new, and it will help definitely for the new people. And funny enough, this week I had 2 or 3 people asking me where Umbraco is and when it will be finally supported on Linux machines and stuff like that. So even people who are not doing Umbraco development actively, they just know that I'm doing this, and they ask me about it. So it must be a thing. It will be definitely easier and better for us if we'll say, okay, it supports right now Linux, you can run it, and it's production ready right now. So yeah, we are all awaiting this situation and this point in time. Some cloud updates as well mentioned here, new status of cloud infrastructure, and also some new updates on the cloud portal, so everyone who uses cloud can benefit from that. And there's a new subsection on the website mentioned, like product knowledge center, just gathers all the information about the roadmaps.
I saw this. I mean, to me, knowledge center implies like documentation. So I was a bit confused by this.
Case studies,
it's
documentation, learning.
It's a collection of all of the product information. So all of the activities going on around the product, rather than necessarily how to use it or whatever. But maybe this is going to evolve, isn't it, over time? Yeah,
but it's a website structure, so it's introduced right now to help probably finding this information, and yeah, it was mentioned here, and of course some events and new things which we'll be talking about in a second. We've mentioned Codegarden, and also this week we saw an update of the program and some speaker highlights also released this week, and yeah, it's a really good lineup scheduled there. And Callum, you are speaking there as well.
I am. I'm opening a day again, 2 days in a row. First talk of the day.
It will be easier remotely, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Not so much heavy drinking, let's hope. But also, for me, it's a really heavy session. Like it's going to be intense, deep technical session. So what a way to fry a few people's brains. I see Rick in the chat is saying it looks like a really full schedule, and it does. And I don't know. I'm of course not organizing Codegarden, but why is Friday 2 tracks and Thursday's only 1? Like, could it not just be split a bit better to give
that's something what I want. That's something what I wanted to discuss, because it's an obvious change to how it was previously.
Yeah,
Fridays were usually around the open circles, around the discussions and things like that. And Thursday was a technical or separated path into paths to discuss various Umbraco things. Right now it's different. Maybe we will know. Maybe we'll speak with someone from HQ at one day and have some motivation behind that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wednesday is right now for the conference stuff. Umbraco Awards, Gold Partners Summit, and pre-party. Thursday is about updates of product updates, future of Umbraco mostly.
Well, I thought that, but then there's still community sessions in there. Yeah. So if you go a bit later on, I think it is a bit more future focused. So as you can see, even the community sessions, Joe Glombeck's doing a talk on .NET 5, exactly. And there's a few. There's a few in there, but it's
Mike's talk about web components is
exactly. It is all slowly pushing towards kind of future stuff, and then the final day is more just general community sessions. But I don't know. It feels like you've got too much to choose from on the Friday and not much choice on the Thursday. If you don't want to go to a technical session, it's only technical sessions on the Thursday. And equally, something interesting. I guess this is a good thing. The time zones and the times of all of these sessions. So they're running from maybe midday all the way through to kind of midnight, or in some cases, I think the last session ends at 11 p.m. Exactly. I guess this is to account for some of the US folks that will be joining, which is good to see. Yeah. It's going to be a tricky one with people in various time zones all over the world. And as was pointed out by the community, the time zones shown on here are in your local time zone. So don't get all confused if they're going to be, is that?
I wasn't confused because I have the same time zone as Denmark, so I said okay. But okay, that's Polish times. Yeah, that's Polish times. So don't be afraid if you're watching it right now. But Jason also asked if it will be recorded. I believe so. It will, and hopefully that will help us to decide better on the Friday's talks which ones we want to attend and which ones we want to see. Usually the talks were recorded, and right now it might be even technically easier to do it. And
there's also these unconference sessions to break the day up, and those are going to be all of the speakers from those sessions being able to answer questions in those times, I think. So, there's even if you don't catch the session, you can maybe go along for the Q&A in that unconference bit, or a discussion about the topic, perhaps.
Yeah. So right now it's time for Paul Seal or someone else to make this extension here to select favorite talks. It was done last year, right?
Yeah, that was from the Codegarden.
Yeah, it was last year, 2 years ago, the last Codegarden which happened, and I always scheduled my plan on the card, on the printable material. So yeah, it's a challenge right now to pick from these talks, and obviously we will be in the deciding. So yeah, a couple exciting talks, even more than a couple exciting talks scheduled here. Some tough choices to decide which ones to attend. But yeah, let us know maybe if you are watching it, which of the talks you are expecting the most right now, and which one might help you the most when you are looking on the abstract and the talk itself. And people get excited about Codegarden, and I think we are all counting down. Owen made a Lego avatar to be prepared. Maybe some of the other people will also do some t-shirts and stuff like that to just get into the mood. That was usually that was the time when we were exactly doing that. So preparing mugs, t-shirts, hoodies.
Well, thank goodness we don't have to deal with mugs this year, Marcin. A box of 78 mugs from Poland to Denmark, them arriving smashed, or having them stuffed in suitcases and in pockets and things just to transport them. Thank goodness we're not doing that.
And security control on airports asking me why I'm taking so many bags with me to the country.
Might get thirsty.
Yeah, you never know. I'm from Poland, but people get excited, and yeah, share your excitement as well. We are all counting down to these updates and this conference, and yeah, I believe a lot of people are also using Codegarden as a deadline for some of the things. So hopefully we'll see more exciting things being released closer to Codegarden, not only from the HQ side. Speaking about releases, two releases which we found this week. One is about Newsletter Studio, a package done for managing newsletters from the Umbraco back office, and there is a new version for Umbraco V8, and it's a one step closer, the total rewrite. So one step closer to Umbraco V next version based on .NET 5.
Yeah.
So
is it Marcus
Yes,
Marcus that built this package? And of course, until maybe a month ago, it wasn't available for V8 at all. So this is a total rewrite on V8 with the intention that it can be then migrated to V9 somewhat more easily. I guess it's mostly the back office stuff, but it looks really cool. I've honestly not looked at it much in maybe a few years because we've not had a need for it, and it's not been on V8, but it does look really nice and polished.
Yeah, I wanted to say that I use a lot of email marketing services for my other businesses, and I never considered Umbraco as a newsletter platform because I always trusted to more advanced senders and servers to handle SMTP and stuff like that. But yeah, it is possible, and I used a Newsletter Studio in V6 or probably one of the older versions of Umbraco, and it worked these days. So I believe it's a lot better now, and it looks really, really cool. And I saw the screenshots here. Yeah. It's just cool stuff.
I don't know if it's really appropriate for this, but something that comes up a lot on client sites is emails, and they want to send an email when a user signs up or when they've purchased something, and being able to edit those emails and the contents of those emails in the back office is really tough. And it would be kind of cool to see you using Newsletter Studio instead of for bulk email or anything, just for transactional emails, whereby I could just tell, hey, Newsletter Studio, send this email template when this action in my code happens. And then it gives editors a really nice way to manage their email content in the back office. And if it doesn't do that either, it's open source, so try and make it do that, or someone build something, because I'd love that.
We will combine a wish list for this kind of service. I also have a long list of things which I would love to see in the newsletter products. But yeah, this one is really cool, and I'm tempted right now to test it out on V8 and see where maybe it can fit some of the clients or projects or personal expectations. So good work, Marcus, and keep us updated with the new versions of the studio. Our team at Codegarden also worked this week on some updates for Azure Search package, and this was released literally today.
Moments ago.
Yeah, so some changes of the new namespaces, some updates to fetch the latest Azure Search APIs. So if anyone is using Azure Search and wants to have some kind of wrapper and client to work with it easier, it's released. It's version 1.0 right now with some documentation, some updates, and improvements to work with Azure Search here. And it's on Nougat Hour and everywhere else. And these are updates. I couldn't find anything more, to be honest. So maybe this is hidden. Maybe some package developers are working now on new versions for V9. But we have some events ahead of time to maybe get something new released and talked about there. And Umbrad is one of them.
What a great name.
So Mike was with us last week and announced this event. It's right now the site is updated. There's some more speakers. I can't remember if
it was only 3 last week, but there's more now. And of course, it's not long for the event. The event's on Thursday next week, less than a week ago. So exactly. Sign up. Have a look.
There are some new speakers announced. There's some new sponsors also announced and listed here. Still registration is open. Anyone who wants to participate and learn about accessibility done with Umbraco should do the registration there. And learnathons, Umbraco V9 learnathons.
Of course, they had another one on Wednesday that was incredibly popular, building APIs. And by all accounts, again, I still haven't been able to attend, but by all accounts, it was they encountered a bunch of issues with Models Builder. And again, a few people found some solutions there. I guess either a code fix or maybe some documentation would have been updated as a result. And the next time is the back office, which I'm interested because as far as I know, the back office hasn't changed at all. So there may be some different classes you have to implement to register a tree or a custom section, but as far as I know, the back office hasn't changed. So I wonder what's going to be covered here, or if it's mostly the same as V8 stuff.
Yeah, that's really interesting, and also probably as an output of some of these sessions, there were some couple good questions raised on Twitter about specific models, builder modes, specific other improvements on the back office. I saw some threads on Facebook group, Umbraco Web Developers group, about some approaches to specific implementations. So I'm happy to see how people are doing that. And again, it's always good to learn how to extend the back office. And I still think that even if we're doing a lot of Umbraco implementations, we still can do more of this extension. It's never enough. Enough.
Talking of Models Builder, I don't know if it's actually been if Bjarke did it or if it was kind of left open for me or someone else to do. I was discussing the other day because of course in V7 and 8 with Models Builder we've got the app data mode, which I think is probably the mode that most people use. App data or maybe API mode for the old original Models Builder, or even the DLL mode sometimes. But of course, in V9, the files no longer get dropped in the app data folder. But of course, the mode is still called app data, which is super confusing. So they get dropped into the Umbraco folder in your web project. You've got Umbraco, whatever, models, and then all of your generated classes go there. So I did ask Bjarke, hey, could we just give that a better name or something? And there was a bit of a debate about what you'd even call that now. Because I don't know, they're generated files, so code or I don't know what you'd call it. But if it hasn't been done yet, it's an open issue that can be looked at. So if someone wants a way of contributing, making V9 just make a little bit more sense, then go and suggest something there. have data no longer.
I have one name which we were using always in the subfolder of this generated. It was CMS generated.
Yes.
So that was the name, and I think it was used by many developers as well. And I think, yeah, let's debate. And I would love to see some other ideas and vote for them. We will of course try to find this link and link it down below in the video description. So share your thoughts. Naming is hard. It's one of the hardest things in development still. So
I tweeted this week as well that estimations, but it's true, estimations and naming things. The hardest things, and cache invalidation.
Oh yeah, these ones are definitely great to consume time as well. Not estimated time. Blogs. Blogs are the next on our list, starting from a great blog about working with Umbraco V9 beta in CLI, shared by Carol. Again, I haven't had time to play with Umbraco 9 that much yet, but looking on some of these implementations, it's really reminding how .NET is powerful in terms of and how the command line and also the possibilities behind the running Umbraco in non-standard Visual Studio mode can help in dealing with some of the crazy stuff. And here there is a demo on how we can define some Umbraco installations and some of the Umbraco projects with some parameters to CLI. Callum, did you play with V9 already?
Very briefly, a tiny bit, and yesterday I did some pair programming with someone on a V9 site. So yeah, a little bit, but really not enough to be dangerous yet, unfortunately. I had the pleasure, of course, early on trying to set up one of the alphas on GitHub code spaces to play around with that, and it worked. But I got as far as installing it, and then didn't really do much else with it.
Same here. By the way, congrats, Carol, on getting into the build agenda. Yeah, I think it was really good announcement. But check it out if you want to play with CLI and Umbraco V9. The next blog is from Morten, and it's about replacing placeholders in Umbraco's dictionary items. Something what I haven't done in any of the projects before, but it can be really useful. It can have some use cases when you have translated modes, translated phrases, and you have some words which needs to be changed, such as name, for example. Here,
the thing that every time I do this, it's always going great up until I need to pluralize something. So so when you go, let's say you have one item in your basket. You have two items in your basket. At least in English, that's how it would be. So when you create the thing, you've got to be like, oh, how am I going to phrase this so I don't have to pluralize this? Or can I bake a way and I can put logic in there or something? And it just gets messy. But definitely for simple, name replacement or whatever, incredibly helpful.
Still, English is better in these terms than Polish. We have when we are ordering in Polish language, you have 4 or 5 ways of doing that, and it's different for every single number at the beginning of the counting. So no, it's
as we discussed on our Lungo as well. There's so many different incarnations that actually writing code that can handle every language or every culture in the same way is impossible. Like, we don't know what they say in Australian English. We don't know what they do in Spanish, for example.
Yeah, I don't know. You've attended John Skeet's talk about time zones as well. Yeah. So only time zones are a topic for long debates, and not speaking about translations in general. Then. So yeah, this one is really good. The next thing on our agenda is some discussions about the best practices started by Paul Seal, and I think this is one of the threads which I really liked this week. I also shared some of my slides which I've done I don't know how many years ago for some cog best practices these days. And yeah, it's great to see some of the replies really helpful in terms of improving our own
one that Rick, who's in the chat, hey Rick, mentioned on I think the Facebook group is amazing, and I don't know why I'd never even clocked that you could do this or this was a thing. But to keep the media library clean, disable the ability to set images or files at the root. Therefore, they have to exist under a folder. It's genius. Force your editors to keep the media library organized. Absolute genius. Why did I never realize that?
That's true. Small things which can improve a lot better. And you know, when I'm thinking about editors right now, if they will not even know that it's possible from the beginning, right?
Yeah,
that will
if you
improve.
take it away, they're going to get frustrated. But if it's never there, they'll never know. Genius.
Yeah, exactly.
Genius.
But speaking about Facebook groups, if anyone is on Facebook and is not on this group, join. A lot of useful discussions recently there.
Is this what Facebook looks like nowadays? I've not used Facebook in years.
Yes, it looks different now.
Wow.
So let's have a live demo for Callum right now. That's Facebook, Callum. It has some discussion threads. You can discuss. You can see some replies. You can engage. But yeah, that's this group is really active recently, thanks to Paul and Nick's activities mostly, and some other people who are asking really good questions.
Look at that, four members from 1,000. Let's get it. If you're not on it, just sign up.
Yeah, the sad thing about this, and again, something what we've been discussing a lot in the past, is like this knowledge is spread across various platforms, right? If you are not here, you are missing some of the good threads. It's not on our because I don't know why, right? People are not asking the questions there because they prefer to ask Twitter because they will get the faster response. That's something tricky here to solve, and we won't solve this problem. But if you are familiar on Facebook, you are using Facebook, you want to instant reply there and see some good examples of Umbraco knowledge shared there, join the group. It's really cool.
You're definitely right that the immediacy is definitely why people ask things on Slack or on Twitter or on the Facebook page as opposed to our. And I don't know, there's probably still smaller, definitely on Facebook. It's a smaller community than there even would be on our. It's just, I don't know, maybe something in the experience of even posting and asking the question that's just not quite there.
No. Still, there are also LinkedIn groups, which a couple of them I manage, and I'm constantly accepting some of the people who wants to join these groups. But you know, without proper, it's hard to say management, but proper driving the group or keeping the group active, it won't work. It's not like the type of the activity which we want to do. Still, we have Stack Overflow, for example, again, right, where we can ask questions, and there is a lot of Umbraco questions unanswered there. Yeah, it's interesting. But if we're talking about that's a great segue to our next update, because Mark Goodson joined the 10K Karma Club, and big kudos and big high five for making this checkpoint. I don't know how big the club is.
I think it's pretty small, maybe 5 or something, less than 5 people for sure. I know that he posted the other day that Matt was still the Karma King as the top karma earner this year. I know Alex Skripnik's very, very good on the forums too, and I know that Mark is as well. I think Mark is either second or third. So there's got to be only maybe a couple of people that are truly in
leaderboard.
It's a good question. Is it under?
It's probably here, Karma leaderboard. Yeah. Okay, so top Karma leaderboards of 2020. There's no general leaderboard?
No, not overall. Not overall. So it looks like then it's just Mark, Matt, and I guess
Alex, maybe?
Alex, yeah.
Interesting. No matter what, it's a very exclusive club to be in.
Oh, Alex has got 22,000.
Yes.
Whoa. Oh, it's just another league, isn't it? You wouldn't even know where to start.
So there are still people who are asking questions and answering questions on our. It's not the point of our being bad for doing that. It's like probably not the obvious choice for some people who are choosing the other platforms to do that. Oh, yeah, interesting. A lot of great. How many Nick has? 6,000. So not in 10K club. We don't care.
Amazing.
No, it's crazy. So keep it up. Congrats, Mark, and anyone who will join the 10K club, let us know. We'll definitely highlight that. It's a great achievement, and maybe we can get it from API and build a list of people above the 10K. It always motivates people to answer more questions. That's about achievements. Owen also shared a new blog from the Community Corner, which highlights Emma in this series from Spin Dogs. And also there is a second one coming, or probably might be already released, because Owen was mentioning 2 of them. So if you are not familiar with this series, check it out on Owen's blog. Community members, their stories, their questions being asked about various topics around Umbraco involvement. And if you want to be included there is also an active forum or probably communication line with Owen to answer these questions. And last but not least on our agenda list today is a reminder about Umbraco MVP's nominations. And with our picture flying around the web.
Yeah, we are the poster people for the MVP awards, aren't we?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not. I don't like that picture because the way it's framed, it just like gets my chin like perfectly in the view. It's horrible. But yeah,
you should be happy that it was fitting the MVP award.
Yeah,
it might be worse over the time.
I feel honoured, but yeah, no. Of course, the awards are open. They
two more days, right?
Monday, 4 p.m.
Monday. 4
p.m. CST Monday. So nice confusing time zones again. If you're going to nominate someone, nominate them before Monday. I guess the call to action is anyone who's made an impact to your life in the Umbraco community in the past year, nominate them. It's not about whether they are the most widely regarded contributor. It's just about their contribution. And that includes existing MVPs, because if you nominate them, they get renewed. So yeah, go ahead and nominate. Take the time to write a good reason, because the reasons get reviewed. If you can put your case forward for that person, they deserve that. So
I remember that I was involved in reviews of some of the MVP submissions back in the days, and it was very helpful to learn about some new people who helped. And these reasons which you've mentioned are very important, because not everything can be seen. And we remember some discussions even started by HQ members that it's impossible to follow everything, right? We maybe follow more things because we are collecting the news, collecting the stuff every week. But from the HQ's perspective, from the people maybe not that keen on social media or various other platforms, it's not that easy. So be sure to submit.
True. If you're not active on Twitter, you'll have in the Umbraco community, unfortunately, a real challenge amplifying your voice, and it just shouldn't be that way. Of course, there's the Facebook group. Of course, as you say, there's LinkedIn. There's some people doing great stuff on YouTube that you come across every now and again that you never even realized were doing awesome work. Some people on the Slack, some people on our. It's so spread. It's so difficult to keep track of. And yeah, like I say, unless you've really amplified on Twitter, you're not going to know. So if you know someone that really deserves to be recognized, nominate them. Do it.
Yeah, and I have a personal challenge as well, because I want to submit people who really made an impact from my perspective, even if there are an obvious choices for awards, or obvious for me at least, right? So it's like you will never know, and I think there are some pretty good names and people in the community who deserve that. And if they will have 1,000 submissions, it will just have a more high fives being shared from the HQ perspective, because they will be definitely recognized. And I've skipped one link on the agenda, and it might be helpful. So if you want to have an impact on community, help Script team and maybe join the Writers Club, because Script is looking for new writers of the articles for June and July. So anyone who wants to share the knowledge and help Script team share the great content is invited to help. So join. If you're not on Twitter, find their website. They have an email. Send an email, and we'll of course link it up down below to help you. And yeah, knowledge is always required. And that's all. That's all from our list. Pretty good stuff.
Very good.
Some call to actions. So not needed during the weekend anymore. Last Sunday I spent submitting our submissions for awards.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I did that too. And trying to say how great your project is for 2 minutes, you think, 2 minutes, that's plenty of time. No, that goes so quickly. I spent, I think, 2 or 3 hours trying to edit a video down so that it had everything I wanted in that video.
Yeah, I had a pretty challenge because I'm obviously not a native English speaker, and I tried to make these videos a professional videos, and I had a complete laugh when I recorded these videos with my voice in the background. I can show it to you somewhere of the record, but I had a lot of fun, and our team as well had a laugh. So I hope that Umbraco team will also have a laugh on top of my submissions. But yeah, right now we don't need to spend Sunday doing that for the last minute submissions. Monday is the last minute submissions for MVPs. Help Script writing new cool content, and of course share your work, because that's what we are using for the content of our umbraCoffee episodes, and be sure that we will pick it up and highlight it next week. And yeah, as usual, like, subscribe, share it for your friends, colleagues, moms, dads, uncles, bosses,
get the notification.
haters.
What else do YouTubers say now? I don't know.
Ring the bell. No, obviously we don't want that. We want you to share it with the people who might get benefit from catching up on Umbraco news, and that's all what we are looking for. If you have someone to subscribe and be notified, let them know. That's all what we ask, and then we ask you to have a great weekend. Because that's mandatory right now. I have great weather right now in Poland. I can't wait to get out.
We really don't in the UK. It's been really indecisive all week. So
it's 30 degrees here.
What?
Summer. Yeah, 26, 27 yesterday. So yeah, sunglasses and stuff like that. So I can't wait. Counting down. So yeah, everyone, thank you for being with us this week. And as usual, see you next Friday.
Yeah. Bye.